This is the Honda EU7000IS. I just wanted to share my experience with this in case anyone else is considering it. I bought it because I needed something I could actually live with during outages, not just have power, but have power without the whole neighborhood hearing it, and without worrying about what it's doing to my electronics. I've used it for home backup and a couple outdoor setups where I needed stable power for lights, battery chargers, and some heavier stuff like a fridge and a few appliances rotating in and out. The first thing I noticed when I started using it is how calm it feels compared to the open-frame generators I've owned and been around. It's not silent, but it's the kind of sound that doesn't instantly take over your whole yard. Standing a short distance away, it's more like steady background noise instead of that harsh engine roar. For me, that mattered because I've been in situations where you're already stressed from an outage, and then the generator noise just adds to it. With this one, I can still talk without yelling if I'm nearby, and it doesn't feel like it's rattling everything around it. Power-wise, it's been straightforward. It's rated 5,500 watts running and 7,000 starting, and in real use, it has handled the stuff I actually care about during an outage. I've run a refrigerator, freezer, lights, internet gear, fans, and then cycled in things like a microwave or a coffee maker without it acting weird. The thing I was most concerned about was startup surges, like when a fridge compressor kicks on, and I haven't had it trip out on me with normal home loads. The fact that it can do 120 and 240 volts is the reason I picked this model over smaller inverter units. I don't always need 240, but it's nice not being boxed in if you're setting up for a transfer switch, or you have a well pump, or other 240 volt needs. I'm not saying it will run an entire house like nothing happened, but for peep life normalish, it's done the job. Setup was pretty much what you'd expect. Fuel, oil, battery for electric start. The electric start is honestly what I use every time. When the weather is bad and you're tired, not having to yank a cord over and over is a real quality of life thing. I did try the recoil start just to make sure it works, and it does, but I treat it like a backup. One thing I'll mention because it surprised me later is that working around the battery area isn't super roomy. If you're the type who swaps batteries or wants to access it quickly, it's a little cramped. Fuel use has been reasonable. The tank is 5.1 gallons, and I've gotten long stretches out of it when I'm not pushing it hard. Overnight during an outage, I'm usually running normal house survival mode, not maxing it out, and it'll just keep going without me hovering over it. When I do put heavier loads on it for a while, you can obviously see the fuel drop faster, but that's any generator. The main point is I'm not refueling every few hours, which is what I was dealing with on a smaller unit before. And refueling itself, this is just common sense stuff. Still takes planning. I shut it down, let it cool a bit, and then refuel. I know some people don't, but I'm not trying to create a fire problem in my driveway. Day to day, the convenience stuff is what you start to appreciate. It has a display that gives you useful info, and I actually do look at it. Seeing load and hours helps me not guess. I also tried the Honda My Generator app with Bluetooth. I wouldn't build my whole routine around the app, but it's been handy for checking on it without walking outside as much, especially if it's raining. Range depends on walls and where it's sitting, so I treat it as a nice extra, not the main way I manage it. A big reason I felt okay running this around the house is the CO Minder system. I still place it far away from doors and windows, and I'm careful about airflow, but I like having that extra layer that can shut it down if something is going wrong. It doesn't replace basic safety, but it has helped with peace of mind. The downside that hits you right away is weight. Mine is around 270 pounds, and yes, it has wheels, but it's still a heavy machine. On flat concrete, I can move it by myself. Over grass, gravel, or anything uneven, it becomes a slow shuffle. If you think you're going to be lifting this into a truck bed often, I would plan on ramps or a second person. The wheels are fine on hard surfaces, just not magical on soft ground. Also, it's a larger footprint than the little suitcase-style inverter generators, so storage takes a bit more thought. Compared to other generators I've used, the simplest way I can put it is this: an open-frame generator can feel like it's made for a job site and you just tolerate it at home. This one feels more home-friendly in the way it runs and sounds, while still having enough output to be useful beyond charging phones and running a couple lights. Versus smaller inverter generators, this one is obviously bigger and heavier, but I don't have to constantly pick and choose what I can run. That trade-off has been worth it for how I use it. If you're worried about whether it's too much generator, I get it. I hesitated because it's not small, it's not light, and it's not cheap. The way I justified it was thinking about the kind of outages I actually get and what I want life to look like during them. If you only need occasional power for a couple devices, or you want something you can carry easily, I don't think this is the right fit. If you want a portable unit that can support a lot of normal household loads, run for a long time, and not be painfully loud, this has made outages a lot easier for me. So, would I recommend it? Yeah. With the main warning being the weight and the reality that you should plan your setup location and how you'll move it. If you've got the space for it and you actually need the capacity, it's been reliable for me and easy to live with. If you've got questions about what I'm running on it or how I set it up at home, leave a comment and I'll try to help. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this and drop your questions down below.